Have you ever seen a Fast and Furious movie? If you have, then you know that half of the movie is completely awesome but a little ridiculous gear shifting. Have you ever wondered if you could be as cool as Vin Diesel or Paul Walker in those movies? Well, I'll tell you how you can be by telling you how to drive a manual car. Now, I've been driving a manual car since I got my license 2 years ago. I also love reading about cars and how they work, going to auto shows, and test driving new cars. So I'm going to tell you how the inside of a transmission works, how to get started with a manual car, and how to actually shift gears once you're already going. Now, the main difference between an automatic and a manual car is that in a manual car, you get to decide when to shift gears. Now, the main reason to shift gears is to get the torque, which is the turning power, and the speed that you desire. So, for example, if you're on the highway and you need a higher speed, you're going to shift into a higher gear. But if you're going uphill and you need more turning power or torque, you're going to shift into a lower gear. Now, there are four major components of a manual transmission. I'll use this diagram to show them. Now, the first is the input shaft, which delivers power from the engine. Next, there is the output shaft, which delivers the power to the wheels. And between them is the lay shaft, which has different gears on it for selecting different gear ratios between it and the output shaft. Finally, there is the clutch, which is an extra pedal which allows for the lay shaft gears to remove themselves from the output shaft when changing gears. So, when a car is on, the input shaft delivers power to the lay shaft through these gears. Next, the lay shaft delivers power to the output shaft through whichever gear it is in. And then the output shaft delivers power to the wheels. When you're up to a certain revolutions per minute with your engine, you will need to change gears. So you do this by pushing in the clutch, which removes the gears on the lay shaft. Next, with the shifter, you select the next gear, and once again remove your foot off the clutch, putting those gears into motion, sending power to the wheels again. So now that we're done with the boring part, let's get to the fun part of actually driving the car. Now, in a manual car, there's an extra pedal, like I said, called the clutch. It is right on the left side of the brake. So when you get into a manual car and you're ready to go, all buckled up, you will put your left foot on the clutch, depressing it all the way, and your right foot on the brake. Next, you will turn the key just like in a regular car to turn it on. Once it is safe to get started, you will, with having the two pedals depressed, move the shifter, which is either in your center console or on your steering column like other cars, into first gear. Now, you will take your foot completely off the brake and slowly start to take your foot off the clutch, while at the same time depressing the gas pedal. Your feet should alternate until your foot is completely on the gas pedal and off the clutch. Now, once you're completely on the gas, you're driving. You're super proud of yourself. You're like, wow, I did it. But then you notice that your car's starting to get really loud. You look down at your dashboard, and there you see your rev meter is getting higher and higher. What do you do now? Well, this is your golden opportunity to look as cool as Vin Diesel. You need to shift gears. Now, depending on what kind of car you're driving, you'll usually need to shift around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. So, once you're ready to shift, you will push your clutch pedal all the way in with your foot off the gas. Next, you will shift into the next gear in numerical order. So if we're driving in first, you will shift into second. Once you're in second, you will take your foot off the clutch while pushing in the gas again, just like you did when you were standing still. Then, you'll take your foot completely off the clutch and have the gas pedal depressed. Now you're driving in second gear. You will repeat this once you get up to 4,000 RPMs in each gear until you get to your final gear, and then you are usually driving about highway speed. So you're driving along, everything's fine, you're looking awesome, and you see a red light. You're like, oh no, what do I do? Don't worry. First off, you can always brake like in a regular car and not worry about the gear shifting till after. But if you're already skilled, you can push the clutch in while braking and move your shifter into neutral, letting the car coast to a stop. Once you're at a complete stop, you will once again shift it into first gear and start over. It's just that easy. Now, of course, you're going to mess up a few times, either missing a gear or stalling out. Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone. It is just a lot more fun driving a manual car than an automatic because you get to select the gears depending on how much speed or torque you want. So, now that you know how the inside of a manual car works, how to get started, and how you can look as cool as Vin Diesel does in his movies, go out and try it for yourself.